in those sections, before class starts, play that measure a couple times, get the repetition of that, okay? Because that's an important part that needs to come through, all right? Great, great. You did good, you did good. Bassoon's hard to play. Kudos to you for playing it. If you keep playing in college too, there's big time scholarships for that. So there's something to think about. Okay? All right, all right. Great. Letter J, letter J. Everybody's in. Letter J. 1, 2, ready, and. Dynamically, how would you classify it? Loud, medium, or soft? Loud. Pretty loud. So how can we make some differences right there? Do something different. Okay? Specifically, I want you to focus the last 4 measures before we hit the trio. What are we going to do? Are we going to play that the same dynamic range? Crescendo. Push through the phrase. We could end the piece right there, couldn't we? Yep. And then it's a huge curveball as we hit the trio. Because dynamically we pull it back. So the more dynamic contrast that you provide right there. So if you haven't already, write that crescendo in. Now, when you think of a crescendo, how do you play a crescendo? Gradually get louder. That's a correct textbook definition. So we see it, it's actually shaped like that, right? What we really should be doing, think of a crescendo very similar to, well, I'll do it this way, and even though that's going to be kind of a day crescendo for you. But as we look at this, see how the shape of the horn, if this was a 4-measure phrase, this is 1, this is the end of 2, there's 3, there's 4, where does the crescendo actually take place? Really towards the end. Okay? So again, this is very slow. We're still crescendoing because it's still getting larger right there. The bore of that instrument, as we get ready to open that up, there's more space that's opening up. Think of your crescendo right there as well. So as we look at that, at the very end, that's where the true crescendo takes place. Does that make sense? Okay, let's aim for that. Thank you, sir. All right, last 4 measures. 1, 2, ready, here we go. When you crescendo though, you can't just be individuals crescendoing. Listen to all the sounds around you. Keep that pyramid at all times. There's a couple trumpets sinking down the texture a little bit. So again, keep that all in check. Once again, 4 before. 1, 2, ready, now, you. Reads, you guys are a very strong section. Don't let the readiness truly overpower some of the things fitting in with some of the brass, okay? So just cautious with that. It's not that you're doing anything wrong or anything bad, but again, it's going to create a little bit better sound. We fit into that sound of the tubas a little bit more. Horns, where you guys come in right before letter O, again, we've got 2 of you, right? So again, I don't want you to think that we need to be this huge section of this entire band, but a little bit more dynamic range. Pull that out just a little more, okay? Especially since we've got 2. All right, listen to that tone right there. Take letter N. Dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. Okay. N, 2, trio, N. Now, listen to the middle links. We're close. We're close. Dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. Line it all up. Da 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 da. Ready and. There's a lot of great things going on right there. Saxes, be real careful. The first time, we're pushing a little sharp. A lot of it could be temperature in the room, okay? That's a lot of it. So we can use that as an excuse for now, all right? As we look at that, though, keep the ears open, just even listening to one another. As we look at that stretch, careful because we're just pushing that pitch a little bit sharp. Second time through, euphoniums, and I think we've got some of our low reeds in the mix as well. Ba-dee-da-da. All these lines right there, great work with that. Continue to keep listening to the center pitch right there. I think there were maybe an accidental or two. We were just either really out of tune or we missed the accidental. So don't miss those because you are that component that we're listening to that second time. So just have that mental awareness of that, okay? All right, let's move on. Pickups into circle S, into letter S. Who have the piccolo, oboe, clarinets? Yes, we've got our 16th notes ready for S. Let's hear you right there with going into the downbeat of S. Okay? Play that whole measure. Play the whole measure. 1 before S. 1, 2, ready, and 1 and a 2 E and a 1. 1 and a 2 E and a 1, 2, ready, and. Okay? You can look at what we've got dynamically speaking right there. And I would go ahead and add a little bit of a crescendo right there. 1 and a 2 E and a 1. Okay? 1 and a 2 E and a 1 and 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 and D. Try that once again. 1, 2, going on, and 1. Things of matching things up. You guys have metronomes? Or I'm sure there are some here in the band room, right? So as we look at that, I would get a metronome and practice that very consistently just in these next couple of weeks before the 14th to really get that nailed down because we've got a variety of things taking place. The vertical alignment, we're not quite there. You're going to get a lot more credit from your audience when we listen to 1 and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 and D, 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 B, D, D, D. Okay, let's try that once again. Ready, and that's going to be some individuals just taking care of that to make sure that we line up with everybody else. If you would, take a look at one measure before T. 1 and a 2 E and a, we kind of have the same thing. 1 and a 2 E and a, D, da, 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 da. We just have a, different conception of the length of note. That's really the big difference between why some bands are good and some bands are better, because the bands that are better, they continue to unify what that length of note is. So just work on that. Take those folks again. 1 before T. 1 and a 2 E and a, 2, ready, and. Yeah. Let's take it a little slower. D, da, 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 da. D, da, 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 da. 1 and a 2 E and a, ready, and. Much better, much better. 1 and a 2 E and a, D, da, 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 da. Okay? Great. Everybody, pickups in the letter S. Pickups in the letter S. Thank you for your patience. Here we go. 1 before S. 1 complete measure before S. 2, ready, and. Second time through again. Okay, another thing that's a lot like other marches that we look at, but that second time through, melody, pull that back. Okay? We don't need to hear as much of that. We've already heard what's going on right there. There's a couple different parts adding right there. So anybody that comes in the second time, raise your hand. Okay? We want to hear those elements a little bit more. Okay? Great. Second time, letter S. Second time, letter S. Melodic feature, pull back just a little bit. Again, a nice relaxed feel. S, 2, ready, and... Different that second time. Trumpets? Anybody else? Bells. So we need to hear that element coming through as well. That's an important feature right there. That's something different. All right. Let's hear trumpets and bells right there at S. Okay? You got it. 1, 2, S, and. Yep. Okay, so as we bring that through, again, match style, but let that feature come through, all right? Good job, good job. All right, second time, letter S, continuing on. You did good. S, 2, ready, and. Okay, when I said come out, that was great. Keep it like that, all right? As we look at you, again, it's nothing notes or rhythms, guys. It's not notes or rhythms at all. It's just style, lining that up. If you would, say your part. Say your part at letter U, okay? Da 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 da, or da 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 da. 1, 2, bless you, and. Right before letter W, our bass voices, da 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 da. Bring that part out, okay? You said that better than you played it. Oh. Ouch. But we can change it, right? You can change that. And all I'm saying is your vertical alignment is much more accurate when you're saying it versus playing it. Okay? So try to apply what you just said. Let's hear letter U playing. U. 1, 2, U, 2, ready, and. That was better. Now, dynamically speaking, how would you phrase each of those 4 measures? Yeah, really accent, especially at the beginning. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and be da da ba da 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 da. So start strong, then pull that back a little bit, okay? And then start strong that next set of 4. Let's try that. Letter U. Dee da 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 da. Ready? And. Anytime, listen closely, second measure at letter B, if you have a dotted 8/16 rhythm at all, which a lot of you do, 1 and a 2 and dee da da. Put a little emphasis on that first dotted 8. Dee 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 dee. 1 and a 2 and dee da da. Try that, just those two measures, letter V. 1, 2, V, and. Careful not to split. Think more da as opposed to wah. 1 and a 2 and dee da da. Dee da da. Think of a genie lamp. You ever seen a genie lamp? Have you really seen Aladdin or something? I don't know. As you look at that, what happens when you rub the genie lamp? Before the genie comes out. The smoke, okay? Does the smoke just go poof?
No, it doesn't.
No, it comes out slowly, okay? And right now, what are we doing with that? The smoke is going poof. We don't want the smoke to go poof. Because right now, dee da da dee da bee. No, 1 and a 2 and woo doo doo. Make sense? All right, here we go. You. 1, 2, you, and. Sorry. I looked at you and meant V. Some of you read my mind. Thank you. Some of you just went with what I said. Good for you. It's my fault. Letter V. 2, ready, and. Worked very well. Now, those of you that are trilling, it's very easy to get excited about that. As we look at the last two measures before we hit letter W, our main attention should go back to one measure before W. Let's hear if you've got 8 notes right there. If you're moving up, 1 and 2 and. Right before W. Right before W. Okay? 8 notes. Ready? And 1. Taking it this slow or not, and he's got every liberty to do what he wants to do. It's his band. I'm going to take it a little bit slow. 1 and 2 and B, D, D, D. Okay? All right. Take letter V. Letter V. Make sure we watch right there. Listen for the bass voice. Letter V. 1 and 2. Ready? And. Trills are way too much still for what's going on with the bass voices. Right now it sounds like the trills are really taking over what the basses are doing, okay? So pull back on the trills. Again, think of your crescendo very much to the shape of the trumpet that we talked about. Push the very last possible moment. V, 2, V, and. As we look at letter X, we may lock that tempo in a little bit more. Let's hear letter X, this obligato, well, we still have it going on before that, but let's hear letter X. You've got the 16th notes and kind of the 16th notes throughout this whole passage. A lot of it's in our upper woodwinds, but anybody else. At letter X, 2, ready, and... 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a... And a 2 and 1 and a 2 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 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 real close. But as sections, we still need to work on that. So if we can, that's something. I won't take time to do that. That's going to be on an individual basis to make that happen, okay? Guys, some really good work with that, okay? Let's move on.